That's nice, that.
It's a really nice, catchy song, actually. It's lovely.
Yeah, you need to... It starts off and you think, oh, what's this going to be like? And then it goes straight into that kind of like a chorus. Yeah. It's really important to have something that you can hook into.
Yeah. Do you know, I've been trying to work out all day which song it reminds me of, melodically, and it's very, I think it's quite like, has the same mood-enhancing effect of New Kid in Town by the Eagles, which is a beautiful song.
Oh, yeah.
Very song, beautiful song.
Yeah,
it's got kind of that melodic...
Well, I've always been amazed in the pop rock world, for instance, when you think there are only like 8 notes in an octave. Once you get out of that, you move into the go an octave up. How they've ever been able to write so many songs. Yeah. How there were so few writs, when you think about it, very few writs about plagiarism. Yeah. And yet somehow or another they still managed to do it. So that's why you'll find sometimes a chord sequence will be enough to make you think you've heard it before. Yeah.
But we all thought this morning when we were watching your video that it was filmed somewhere like Morocco because of all those beautiful sounds.
It was Holland Park, dear.
Oh well, never mind.
And a Moroccan house in Holland Park?
No, it was, I believe it was the original owner of the store, Debenhams. And it's a huge, great house. It's on sale, by the way, 28 million.
Really? Yeah. Oh, I've read about that one.
And it's tiles everywhere. Tiles on the outside, tiles on the inside. It's lovely. It's beautiful to look at. But the only thing is, of course, when it was done in, I don't know, turn of the century or whenever it was, you had to live with that decor forever. Yeah. You can't put new wallpaper over it. It'd be criminal.
It's a bit strong. It's a bit strong, I think. But look, you're 64 today, and happy birthday. And it has to be said, because it goes without saying, that you don't look it. And it seemed, I was telling Judy, I remember watching a news report when you were 40, when you turned 40, they filmed you in Hyde Park, I think. Do you remember? On your 40th birthday...
I remember my 40th birthday,
You gave a big press conference in the park somewhere. I remember seeing it on the telly. And it seems to me that for a very long time, probably for a quarter of a century or more, the nation is obsessed with your age. It's constantly spoken about. Well, how does he look so young?
But, Richard, I think it's because, starting when I did start, I mean, for a start, it was infancy. Rock and roll was in its infancy. Nobody knew. We sang, rock and roll is here to stay, but we didn't know it was going to be here to stay. Suddenly, it's turned out to be an art form that worth sticking with, and suddenly I find myself, I'm the first person who had 10 years in show business, and then I'm the first person to get to...
You're on
so
the
you're
front
always
wave,
slightly ahead, so you're the first person to... I'm the first person to get 5 decades as number ones, and it's just by dint of the fact that I started when I started.
And you had a good start. I mean, we were at a fundraising do that you were at the other night where you were performing, and it was just you and your Fender semi-acoustic, which you auctioned off, and you sang Move It, your first hit. Yeah. And I'd forgotten how rocky Move It was. That was a rocking song.
Well, they say that it's the first real American-sounding rock and roll record ever made outside America. Yeah. Because we were all influenced by, Elvis and Little Richard and everybody, but we weren't able to make that sound here. And I still think it was a kind of happy accident, because my next record was not anywhere near as good as Move It. It was called High Class Baby, and it went back to being an attempt at copying. Whereas Move It came out fresh, all the faders were up, and mixing it was really easy. They just pushed the faders up there, and everybody heard everything, and it sounded really good.
And did you play guitar on that at the time?
No, I didn't.
Didn't you? So have you learnt the guitar if you were playing the other night? Because it's a terrific guitar riff.
Well, in those days, that particular record, my first record, only 2 of my band played, the drummer and the guy who wrote Move It, who played the da-da-da-dung, da-da-da-da, that section of it. But we had a professional, at that stage we were barely professional, professional bass player and a guitarist called Ernie Shear, who created da-down, down, da-down, da-down, down, down, ga-da-da-down. He created that intro. And, so many guitarists can't play that intro. And because no one told me, and I still don't understand it, there's what they call a 2/4 bar in the middle. Normally 4 beats in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. When in the middle of that da-da-da, there's a 1, 2, 1, 2. And it throws everybody.
Like a shimmy.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing. But I learnt to play it by ear, so I didn't know anything about 2/4 bars. I still don't know what 2/4 bar is.
Just copied it.
We actually had our first taste of your wine last weekend.
Did you?
A bottle of your rosé.
Yeah.
It's
Which one was it? The rosé.
Really
the
nice.
rosé.
The rosé.
Very dark rosé, actually.
I chose a dark. I think we're going to lighten it a little this year. But also, did you find it was a pretty strong wine? It's like a 13.5%.
13.5%, yeah.
Probably a little too much. Yeah. But it was a brilliant year last year, 2003, as you know. The weather was so fantastic. The sugar content was so great. They could hardly control the alcohol forming as we were pouring it in. It's going. So this year I said, couldn't you possibly take it down to like 12.5%?
A bit lighter,
So it's a little bit lighter, and therefore you could drink it more happily at lunchtime without feeling you've got to go to bed.
But it's met with huge critical acclaim, your wine, hasn't it?
Yeah, the red wine I don't know what people thought I was going to do. I mean, obviously, I don't make the wine. I can't make wine, but it was my farm and my name and my idea, so to speak. But this guy is from Australia, David Baverstock, and he studied all his winemaking, making port in the north of Portugal. And then he's moved down south, and he wanted to be the first man to make a good red wine in the Algarve, which is not known. In the Book of World Wines, it says in the Algarve, it says, and this is a real put-down, poor Algarve, we're changing that. It said there are basically 4 cooperatives in the Algarve, and they bottle headaches for tourists. And I thought, oh my goodness. Anyway, he said, this needn't be true. And he's made a really good wine, and the critics really liked it.
Yeah, I know.
I got better critics for my wine than ever I got for my album or film. It's ridiculous.
Well, listen, we were listening to the album as well this morning, and there was a general consensus, and I wouldn't say this if it hadn't been said, there was a general consensus that, you know, Tom Jones had a moment about 8 or 9 years ago where his career, which had been going extremely well, suddenly kicked in again. You know, he really did go back into overdrive, and still is. There's a buzz around you and the new album and stuff. Do you think you're in that moment?
Well, I'm aware that there's a buzz because, you know, I suddenly was given a list after just having 1 week to talk about it. And if the list had 25 or 30 radio stations marked on it, 25 of the 30 had it on their A list. And I'm thinking, oh, no, I don't remember that happening for a long time.
Yeah.
And maybe the feeling that
That's what we were talking about. That was it. That you were back on the playlists. Yeah, that was it.
Not everywhere. And, you know, and you can't you can't make people play your record. I mean, if you could, I would. I mean, it would be so much easier. It's so much harder now to have a success. Yeah. But there seems to be a buzz, and maybe, you know, that feeling I had 2 years ago where I wanted to get away from Britain, it was almost too easy here. You become comfortable, no edge, no challenge. I went to Nashville where I didn't know anybody. They all kind of knew about me. I didn't know them at all personally. And somehow or another, together, we've managed to do it. To me, the album feels high-tech, contemporary, but live.
Well, look. Happy birthday. We also
Happy birthday. We got a surprise for you. Got a little surprise for you. Shall I have it or should you?
Yeah, okay.
All right, okay. You did a whole string of Saturday night shows with Olivia Newton-John back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Lovely Olivia Newton-John. And we found, I don't know how we found this, but we found a clip of you singing the Beatles When I'm 64.
Oh, yeah.
when you were 31.
I can remember singing that.
Yeah, and here you are.
Where?
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine, birthday greetings, a bottle of wine? And if I get home at 2:45, would you slam the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
There was a cake there, and we've got a cake here. And to bring it on, your co-star from Summer Holiday, Melvin Hayes. Bring it on, please.
No.
Yeah. Hello, Melvin.
Oh, no.
Okay. To you.
How are you, man? Thank you. Thank you.
Speed it up a bit.
Happy birthday, dear Sutcliffe. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Melvin, thank you for coming. That was really kind of you. Very quickly, what are you doing tonight? Are you going out somewhere? Are you having a quiet night in,
well, I've
what?
got to get up really early tomorrow. I've got to be up by about 7. I've got to leave by 7:45, and I'm going to Germany to do a TV show there, and then another show on the Saturday.
So a quick dinner or something?
So I can't be in bed before. I've got to be in bed by 4.
You youngsters are all the same.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. Well, look, many happy returns.
Thank you so much.
Again. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Well,
thanks a lot, Melvin. It was really good.
Bless you. Nice to see you.
And that, my friends, is it for, what is it, Thursday?
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Thursday, yeah.
Tomorrow, we're going to be previewing the brand new sex magazine that's coming out just for women. It's called Scarlet, and it says it will be decadent, dirty, and shamelessly sordid.
And a leading medical expert blows the whistle on the health service killers. He says Harold Shipman was just the tip of the iceberg. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Spice up tea time. Lee and Perrins with Richard and Judy.
You can talk.
Welcome back, lads. So, who did you interview this week?
Sir Cliff Richard.
Sir Cliff Richard. Now, let me tell you this.
let me tell you this. Sir Cliff Richard has sold over 250 million records. He's had 14 number ones, and this week releases his new single, Something's Going On. But to top all of that, this week he got to meet these two, the lucky devil. Let's see how they got on.
Hello?
We're here to interview today, but we really need the toilet.
Yeah, of course. Quick, come on in.
Your fans are called cliffhangers. Why are they called that?
They're always hanging around. Everywhere I go, they're hanging around.
You make old ladies scream and shout when they see you. Don't you think they are a bit old for that?
No, old ladies, by the way. What do you mean, old ladies? I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are. You're never, ever too old to have fun. No, I've never been married.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I've had girlfriends, and I haven't got one currently, though.
Did you like being a film star?
I really enjoyed it because, you know, I went all the way to Greece to make a film. We worked in the Canary Islands once.
That's hot. I've been to Greece.
Very, very hot.
When we were at school, we were made to sing Summer Holiday 50 times. Will you sing it for us now?
We're all going on a summer holiday, no more working for a week or two. Fun and laughter on a summer holiday. You, all together. We're going where the sun shines brightly. We're going where the sea is blue. We've seen it in the movies. Let's see if it's true. Yay.
I read that you have been drunk 3 times in your life. When my dad gets drunk, he does really stupid things. What did you do when you were drunk?
Well, I can't remember, to be honest with you, but afterwards someone said to me, you were really nice drunk. Can you be drunk more often? So I'm probably horrible when I'm not, although I'm not, am I? I was very sick.
What sort
And
of
that's
thing?
the other thing. Well, I mean, just sick.
You sang at Wimbledon when it rained. Why did you do that?
Well, they asked me to do it, you know. You know, every year it rains a little bit at Wimbledon. And that year, about 6 years ago, I think, it rained for about 3 hours, and there'd been a ball wasn't even hit at all. So they said, "Can you sing for us?" Well, I nearly died. No guitar, no band, no rehearsals. And do you know what? I sang, and it turns out I sang to my biggest audience ever, because it went all over the world. I got telegrams and messages and phone calls from America and Australia and in the Far East. So
Did people like it, or did they all go home?
Oh no, their crowds came by the million to come and see me sing that.
We've heard that people always tell you how young you look. We hate it when people say that to us, so we brought you some presents to help you look a little bit older.
Well, that's very true, guys. Thank you very much indeed. I'd get up, but I'm too old.
You're very cheeky, you two. Do you want to see Jack's impression of Cliff Richard? Eh?
Go on. Cheers. We're all going on a summer holiday. What? Rubbish? Rubbish? I'll give you rubbish in a minute. So, Sir Cliff this week...
Like to chat a lot? The Paul O'Grady Show, sponsored by Telly2. Why pay more?
Today, Sir Cliff Richard and Castaway star Ben Fogle.